Hi, and welcome back to Coffee and Commiseration with Case Steitzip here. I'm so happy to be here with you all. It's a rainy, wet, cold day here in Los Angeles, cold for us, and our tolerance, at least my tolerance, is very low for cold. So if you can see me, you can see that I'm all bundled up. I've got my warm mug of broth, and it's actually really lovely when you're inside. If you're outside driving around these streets, no. But inside, it's so warm and cozy. We've got the fire going. Our temporary rental is in Venice on the canals, and so it's so lovely. We have all these ducks out here, and it's a lot of fun. So at the same time, we're totally displaced. We have nothing of our own, and that is challenging. Like I went to wrap a gift, and I was like, wait, I don't have any tape. Oh, I don't have any gift wrap. I don't have anything. Like, you don't realize all the things that you have accumulated in your home over years of living there. And then all of a sudden, we have nothing. So that's what I mean when I say not the most practical time to embark on a new venture. However, I am glad that I did. I don't care if it's imperfect. I am doing it, and I am very happy that other people see me doing it and they're trying their things as well, because we just don't know what life has in store for us, right? We don't know how much time we have. And why should we run the risk of suddenly finding ourselves in a situation where we didn't do something we wanted to do because we were always waiting for the opportune time to arise and it never did. So this is, definitely outside of my comfort zone. I am a perfectionist. I try not to be anymore, but I am. I'm like a type A overachiever person. And so I want to make it as good as it can be. I want to, whatever, like get a microphone or something. Like my son said, you should do like a professional looking picture, mom, on your podcast. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to do, nor do I have time to figure it out. So I'm just rolling with it, you guys. And for those of you who are here rolling with me, I am so grateful. It is a very interesting time for us. As I said, we are like totally up in the air. We're in this rental for a few more months. Then we've got to move on to the next. So we've got to find our next place to live. The process in the Palisades is just so overwhelming. It's unbelievable. Just the sheer amount of destruction, and there are like 5,000 homes in the Palisades that need to be rebuilt. So it's a massive undertaking. And for those of us with standing homes, it's like it's a lot, just having to do all of the remediation and inventory all the contents and throw everything away and get all new stuff. It's so much stuff. Which is why these times are the highlights of my days lately. I'm enjoying being here in this temporary place I'm living in, and trying to make the best of it. But I do really enjoy coming to talk to you, and I appreciate you all coming to sit with me. So I have some interesting things to share with you. I hope you'll find them interesting. So the first is I want to talk about fitness, which is bizarre because I am not a fitness person. I do not like to work out. I never have. I'm not athletic. I was always like, my mom and dad, probably just my mom, because my parents divorced when I was 6, and I think I was a little older than 6. But the only sports I ever played growing up, I played softball, during which I was I wanted to be out in the far field as far as possible to avoid any ball coming in contact with me. And like, that was my goal. Like, don't let it come over here. If it does come over here, I'm ducking and hiding. And the one time I finally managed to hit a ball, you guys, I ran to, not lying, third base instead of first base. And everyone was yelling and I thought they were all cheering and they were all saying, no, 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 wrong way. So yeah, I am not athletic. I was never on any sports teams. I told my mom that I was on the tennis team in middle school, which I wasn't. I was just hanging out and getting into trouble and God only knows what. But I said I was playing tennis. I, you know, I have always been very active. Like I'm kind of almost kind of like frenetic energy. I try not to be like this anymore, but I am like, I kind of am always moving constantly. Like when I was in law school, my classmates would tell me like, stop moving your foot. It's like I keep my foot, going a million miles an hour, because I don't know. It's like I have a very like active sort of energy, right? But I don't like to work out. Anyway, all of this is background to tell you that I went to the gym today for the second day in a row. I'm very proud of myself. I had actually joined a gym in the Palisades, and it, was open for a week, and then the fires happened. And it's taken me this long to like go into another gym because while I don't really enjoy working out, I have to because I had cancer. I mean, any of us need to take care of ourselves, right? I mean, I'm 48, so I got to take care of my body. We all do. And as we get older, it's more important. In my case, my cancer certainly, is sort of a reason for me to really prioritize my health and get in there and especially do the weights, which I'm going to get a trainer. I'm going to get someone to help me. But in the meantime, I don't have anyone yet. So, I don't really know what I'm doing. I go into the gym and I feel totally self-conscious and out of place. And I live in LA, so there's, a lot of very fit people in there doing their thing. And, I had to stop myself and say, don't compare yourself to other people. As I tell my kids, those people are worried about themselves. They're not worried about you. So don't worry about them. Like, worry about you. So I went in for the first time yesterday. I sat down on just the couch and I sat there for like 20 minutes just doing my emails and stuff before I even attempted to get on a machine. That's how just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Am I going to do it wrong? Are the people going to be looking at me? I don't know. So I did it yesterday. And then today I went back and I was like, okay, I'm going to just do this for like 10 minutes. And then what always ends up happening, I don't know if this is true for you, but I expect it is. It's like forward momentum. So I get on there for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then it's like, oh, this is cool. I'm enjoying this. This is great. I got this. I'm going to do 20. And then before I know it's 30. So that's kind of how it happens, right? And that's how I feel about everything. Like I love to write. And so a lot of times, like I would be stuck on just getting started. Like, I don't know how to begin. I don't know if it's going to be good. I don't know anything. Like I don't know. And all of this self-doubt would just hold me back from just doing, just go, just write. And that's really the most important thing. And that's what I'm doing with this podcast. It's like, I know it's not perfect. I know I could probably make it better if I had more time. And yet I don't have more time. And who knows if I actually do in the long term? Maybe not. So I am not going to be in a situation where I look back in my life and think, why didn't I just try that? Why didn't I? Plus, I listen to other people with their podcasts and I think like, well, they're doing it and I'm as good as they are. Like, I think I am. So why not? So I hope that many of you will try this kind of just go, just do something, just start, just try. Don't be afraid. Don't compare yourselves. Even if you are afraid, even if you have to sit on the couch for 20 minutes because you do not know how to operate the machinery in the gym, just sit there and then eventually get on the pre-core. Just try. I know it sounds ridiculous. I know. but it's the reality for me. I thought it all kind of to me is the same thing. It's like, it's the idea of embracing that we're all human, we're all flawed, we can't be perfect. There's no perfect time, there's no perfect circumstances. And if you wait for them, you might be waiting forever and you might never do it. So just start. That's my advice. That was good. 2 days in a row, I'm on the right track. The other thing I'm trying, and I believe in like full transparency, as I told you all, I would always like share my salary with my colleagues. I think it's beneficial to be open about everything. I think it helps other people, right? And I'm open about all the things that I do. So a friend of mine was like, a lot of my friends actually have tried this with success, but another good friend of mine very recently told me that she was trying a semaglutide, which I didn't know what that was, but it's like one of those medications, like that whole, it's not Ozempic, but Ozempic and all the other variety of these semaglutide meds. And what she said to me made a lot of sense. And so I decided to give it a try too. So she said, and this is a very smart person who does her diligence and everything. And I really like what she said about this. She said, I have like 15 extra pounds on me that I am not comfortable with, that I've been trying to get off. She's my same age, she's 48, and it just will not come off no matter what I do. And she's like, so I decided to give myself 6 months of doing all of the things, like really, really giving it my all to lose this weight. And the same time, her friend had started a semaglutide drug. And so she did all the things for 6 months, and she watched her friend, and she did not lose any weight. She actually gained weight. So at the end of the 6 months, the friend was very happy, doing great, and had lost the weight she wanted to lose, or at least had started to, and felt better, felt like her clothes fit her better, and all of these things. So my friend started it, and she really likes it so far. And she said one of the best things about it is it's really changed my relationship with alcohol. And I was like, really? Huh? That's interesting. Because when I was with her a few months ago, she was telling me she wasn't really drinking very much. And so I was like, why did you even need to? Like, I didn't think you were even drinking. She's like, no, but like, if I would sit down, and have a glass, I would, ultimately have to finish the bottle, kind of thing. Maybe not in one sitting, but you get the idea. It was just, she wasn't comfortable with it. She wanted to change it. And so that kind of piqued my interest for two reasons. One reason is, I have the same situation. Like, I normally am, I'm going to be totally transparent here. Most people are not this transparent, but I think it's good to be this way. And really, who cares? So I weigh like 145 pounds right now, which is not my normal weight. Like, when Molly was in the hospital, I dropped like 10 pounds during those 2 weeks. My normal weight is like 120, 125. So I dropped weight during those 2 weeks, understandably so. So did John. And then after that, and the year after that, weight just like came on, and I didn't change anything. I didn't change my habits too much, like my eating. I eat pretty well. I'm not crazy about it. I eat everything in moderation, but I like to eat, I prefer to eat good, healthy foods for the most part. So I was like, okay, what is this? Where is this coming from? And kind of like my friend, it's like, that's not a tremendous amount of weight to lose. But similarly, it's like whatever I did or didn't do didn't change a thing at all. And my frame is small. So it's like that amount of weight on someone else would be fine and great. On me, it's like, it's not comfortable because I'm very petite. So I've been sort of thinking about that. But what really piqued my interest is when she said, change my relationship with alcohol, because that's something I've been trying to do as well. Not because, I feel like I have some huge problem with alcohol, but because, again, it's just not healthy to drink, you know, whatever, a glass of, even a glass or two, um, whatever, on a given night. So at least for me, it's not, because of my cancer history. So anyway, I have been also trying to change that. But at the same time, as I shared with you all, at the end of the day, I'm just like, I want to have a glass of wine. I want to sit by the fire. I want to have a nice glass of wine. I also figured out, like, for me, I hate cooking during the week. I don't mind cooking in general, but like cooking dinner every night, I hate it. I really do. I can't satisfy my family. They all have different, dietary issues and all of these things. And I don't know what to make and all of this. So while I'm cooking, I usually will have a glass of wine, because I'm like, if I have to fucking do this, I'm gonna at least enjoy this. I put on some music, I have my wine, and I enjoy the process a little more. So I realized, like, those are sort of things that I need to change a little bit, right? And so I decided to try this semaglutide thing. I asked my doctor, and she was like, "Yeah, I think it's like a wonder drug. Like, it's great." Like, she recommended. It's called Zepbound. I think Zepbound is what it's called. It starts with a Z. Zepbound. So I decided to give it a try. I'm like 1 week into it. I don't feel any different. I gave myself an injection and whatever. And my husband's like, I think you don't really feel anything because you're used to experiencing so many like difficult side effects from the other medication you take. So maybe that's the case. I don't really feel anything yet. But I tell you all of this, for transparency, because I think it's very important that we see each other clearly, and especially as women, that we are open and honest about all the things. I think it's harmful when we're not. I have a lot of friends who will not own up to the fact that they do Botox or fillers, and certainly not these semaglutide meds. I think that's harmful. I will talk about anything. So I want to share this with you, and as I go along, share my experience with you, because I know many people are in the same boat, right? Like, we need to take off some weight. We need to get in better shape. We need to, maybe chill out with our alcohol consumption. And so the other thing I did is I kind of changed up my how I do meal prep. So instead of doing it in the evening every night, I do it once at the beginning of the week, and I have someone come to help me, and then it's all done. And so then I don't have that situation where, I'm getting into my habit of okay, I'm here in the evening cooking the evening meal, and I have to have my wine. So that's what I'm doing, you guys. I thought that, I'd share and I'd let you know how it goes with everything, with my gym, with the Zepbound, with the, conscious drinking. I always I feel like every time I look at something online about how can I sensibly, mindfully cut back on drinking, but I still want to drink, and I still want to drink socially, kind of thing. And then it's I get all these pop-ups about all these sobriety things, and I don't. That's not for me. I don't want that. So I'm sort of reluctant to do a lot of digging online or anything into these things. So anyway, that's some of the stuff I'm dealing with. From there, from the gym, I was in Costco, and I went in there for two things. And because I have, who goes in for two things? I mean, let's be real. But I did go in because the kids told me they hated all the snacks that I have for them. News to me, I thought they liked those snacks, but apparently no. So I went in there just to kind of buy their desired snacks. And whilst in there, like I said, realized like, God, we don't have this, we don't have that, we don't have anything. Um, and I always think about this. I don't know if you can relate, but it has taken me years, but I still think about it every single time I'm in the store, because when I grew up, um, when we would go grocery shopping, it was always it was like this anxiety producing event, because we never had enough money. Like, we never had enough money to buy the things we wanted or needed. So my mom had the food stamps back in the day, before EBT cards. So we had the actual like stamps, which was so embarrassing. Um, so I would, that's how I grew up. And so now as an adult, I think about it every time I shop. I think about it every single time. And for a very, very long time, I had to work through this with my therapist. I felt a lot of guilt about being able to just go into a store and fill up a cart and buy whatever I wanted to buy. Like, it's very hard for me, because I know that that is not the reality for most people, and it's not the reality for most of my own family members. So it's interesting. So I was thinking about that today, as I ended up getting a huge cart, because, as I said, once I was in there, I was like, oh, right, we need everything. And as I was driving home, it's raining here, as I said, and it's like, we have just such a problem in Los Angeles, as you probably have heard, with people that don't have a place to live, unhoused, homeless, whatever term people want to use. But there are many, many people on our streets who don't have a place to live. And today, seeing them out in the rain was it's just makes me so sad, and I want to stop and help them all, and I don't know how. And then I think about my mom and wonder where she is, and if she's got a place. And I mean, similar to me, I told you I have a small frame. My mom is even smaller than me, so she's like 5 feet tall, less than 100 pounds, and she's in her 60s, and she is oftentimes living out on the streets. And it's just, it's heartbreaking. So it's just like this weird sort of dual realities that I live in, because I now, while can't live in my house, and I don't have any of my things, I can go to a store and buy the things I need. I can, come and live here on the Venice canals temporarily and enjoy it and live in a nice place. And I just think about all the people for whom that is not their reality, and what I can do about that, and how I can help. So not to go off on a depressing tangent, but that was on my mind a lot today. I'm going to leave you with one last agenda item that is an uplifting one. If I haven't bummed you out with my last one. So here's a great thing that happened this week. So 2 girls in the 3rd grade decided that they were going to have a bake sale to support victims of the fire. So they did. They used a toaster oven. These girls live in Mill Valley up in the Bay Area. So they only had access to a toaster oven, and they made brownies, and they sold over $200 worth of brownies. And one of the moms matched it. And so they ended up with like $500. And someone in their lives, they were like, how do we get this money to the fire victims, right? And they particularly wanted to help animals that were affected by the fires. And so someone in their lives knew about me, and they knew I was from Palisades, and they knew about Molly's foundation. And they had already shared with these girls about Molly. They knew all about Molly. So these girls call me, and, I'm at Nate's school picking him up, and it's been a long day as always, right? I'm just like exhausted, and, but I really want to talk to these girls, because they've been trying to reach me about how they can support our foundation. So I pick up the phone, and these girls, oh my God, they were just so sweet and so articulate. Third grade girls. They were explaining, how they just wanted to do something to help, and they knew all about Molly, and they knew of her love of animals, and they knew all sorts of things. And like, they were saying how sad they were when they found out that she died. And one of them said, I know that our loved ones, when they die, they send us signs, because my grandpa, when he died, all of a sudden there was a big storm and there was lightning and thunder, and we never have that near us. And we knew it was him. And it was just like the sweetest, dearest thing. And it made me feel like it's worth it for me to put myself out there, because I didn't want to be like a public facing person. I was just a normal private person. I just posted stuff online to like the people in my life. I wasn't looking for this sort of I don't know, more public facing life that I have came about because Molly was in the accident. It was during COVID. She was hospitalized for 2 weeks, and it was a time of great loss and tragedy and grief for so many people, obviously. And many people, I think, saw something in Molly that touched them, and was an expression of their own grief, for their own things that they were losing and had lost in their own lives. So I never expected this or wanted this. But after Molly died, and then I had this sort of social media platform, my reaction was like, well, I need to use it for something good. I need to use it to try to raise awareness to things that Molly would have cared about. I need to use it to, eventually, once the foundation was formed, I wanted to use it to share whatever the foundation is doing. But because I'm out there publicly, I like, if you stand on your principles and you say what you genuinely feel, and you're honest and transparent, and I'm a person who, I'm a lifelong Democrat, but I don't always agree with them on everything. I mean, as I think it should be. But we're so polarized, and anytime you don't fully agree with either side, that causes some amount of friction and blowback. Especially, we're Jewish, and we've taken a lot of shit for the fact that we won't say that we condemn Israel. No, we will never say that. We love Israel. We don't support Netanyahu, but we love Israel. Absolutely. It's like central to who we are as Jews, as most Jews would tell you, by the way. But this leads to a lot of, nasty grams and people sending me death wishes and what have you, telling me horrible things about Molly and everything else. And so sometimes I think, maybe, why am I even doing this? I don't need to do this. I mean, I don't get money from this. Like, I don't need to do this. I'm putting myself out there, and I'm like, taking a bunch of heat for all these things. And why? What's the point? So I've thought about just like shutting it down, just live my life, forget it. And then there are these times like these girls, and oh my gosh, like when I mean, honestly, like I could literally feel my heart just like warm and glowing. I think if you could have like taken an x-ray of me, you would have seen my heart just like glowing. I was so touched and so grateful and so happy. And I love it when little girls know about Molly, especially because she was just such an exceptional girl, and such a girl. Like, so she was such a little feminist, and she cared, she had so many ideas about justice and equality and all of that. And especially when it came to girls and women. And so I love it when little girls know about Molly, and that they knew she loved animals and they wanted to help animals. So they're giving us their $5,000 donated to the Molly Steinsapier Foundation, which we are going to use to help animals that were affected by the fires. And we'll share that. I'm super excited about that. And I can't wait to share that with you. So anyway, it was, fun chatting today. I know I was going through a variety of agenda items. But that's kind of what this podcast is all about. It's just chatting and sometimes venting. I saw someone, gave a critical review because they didn't like venting. That's fine. No worries. I think venting is important, and I certainly have a lot of reasons to, express those kinds of feelings sometimes. And I think it's important to do so because other people see their own struggles reflected in my struggles, and people tell me that all the time. And so I'm very happy to kind of put that out. But at the same time, I also want to be an example of someone who lives life and enjoys life and has fun and laughs and dances and does all the things that make life worth living. And I want to share that part too. So it's not going to be just like a bitch session here. Although if you catch me on, the wrong morning, that might be all you get. But I certainly want to do a lot of just sharing from the heart and having guests on here that will do the same. So our first guest is named Mary. She lives on the East Coast and is someone who followed me from the very beginning and has just been like literally just such an incredible support for me and my family. Does not know us, never met us in person. She lives in Jersey. She's retired and, just an incredible person who saw a family in need and hurting and did what she could to help. Just like these girls. It's like they saw a need and they asked themselves, how can I help? And that's what they did. And that's what Mary's done for me. So I can't wait to have her on as our first guest. Nate said, Mom, are you going to have, because we live in LA and we're kind of adjacent to some big name people and they would likely come on and everything. I'm like, no, I'm not. This is a show. And look, I want to have all kinds of people on here. I'm not saying I would never, but this is a show where we are going to highlight and focus on and celebrate and uplift regular people and share our true stories. And I hope that you all will continue to join me for that. I hope if you want to come on here and share your stories, let me know. This is a podcast for the people. So anyway, thank you so much. I have loved being with you all. And since I'm not cooking in the evenings anymore, since I did change up my routine, I got to just go pop something in the oven, which will be a wonderful change for me. And we'll see what tomorrow shall bring. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.